Right, welcome again to the Success Portal with me, Dr. Franklin, life strategist. So today I'll be talking to you about success and people, or people and your success. So you might have heard some individuals saying that I don't need anyone. I can do it on my own. I can succeed on my own. I can fulfill this task on my own. While that might be true to a certain extent, that you don't need anyone's approval in order to succeed, and you don't have to wait for people to give you the green light before you embark on a certain project. You do need people to succeed. You may not need to get some sort of approval from them as to whether you are capable of doing something or whether you will succeed at something, but you do need people to help you on your journey to being successful. And I just want to make a quick disclaimer. I'm not a psychologist, so I will be sharing a little bit of things that relate to human psychology, but I'm not a psychologist. But these are helpful tips that I picked up through my own life experiences and through my reading. So in order to succeed, you do need a network of people. And growing a network of people is very important because it will help you gain access to certain areas, and it will help make things way much easier for you. I mean, for example, in my own personal life, I have built a certain network that if it happened at any point that I was hungry for whatever reason, I can easily just pick up my phone, make a call, and in 5 minutes, somebody will be able to help me with a meal or even send me funds for me to able to buy some groceries. And I'm not trying to say that to brag, but my point is, and what I believe is, the greatest investment that you can make is firstly yourself, and then secondly in people. So when you've spent time investing it in people, and you've shown people that you actually care, at some point, they will reciprocate that in your life. And when you have sown this time into individuals, they will remember you when you run into a crisis. And in order to effectively network with people, you need to improve your EQ. So your EQ is your emotional intelligence. And I was brought up with that particular mindset of seeing things black or white. And I'm not saying this in a racial context, but in a way of an illustrative way. I always saw things as either black or white, and there were no gray areas per se, because that's how I was brought up, that if something is wrong, it's wrong, something's right, it's right, and there's no, it's either you're this way or that way. And so that's how kind of I approach the world. And I want to say to you, and this was a wake-up call for me, if you think that people view things the way you do, then you are very naive. I quickly realized that people don't think the way I do, and I must be open to that. And when you understand that, that will help you in terms of dealing more effectively with people. And that's where EQ comes in, which is emotional intelligence, of knowing what is called to read the room, knowing where people are when you enter a particular area or when you are speaking to someone, having an appreciation of someone's cultural background. And it's such an important thing. And I've found that sometimes some people who are seen as very tough and hard and easy to and difficult to get along, once you show them that you are actually interested in who they are as a person, and one of those ways is getting to speak to the person and connect with them at the level of their background. Or, for example, if someone was French and you address them in French, you try to greet them in French, and try and show them that you're actually interested in the French culture, they are more likely to open up and actually help you with so many other things. And I'm not trying to say you should do this as a way of manipulating people, because then that's bad. But however, I am saying this is a skill that you can use in your way to achieving success, that every person is actually interested in themselves. And this I learned when I read the book by How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, which is an amazing book. I recommend that you read it. It helped me to understand that most people in this world are actually quite selfish, and they're actually thinking about themselves. So when you have that understanding that people are always thinking about what they can gain, and when you forge relationships having that understanding, you are more likely to succeed, because you are going to connect with that particular individual and relate to that person, knowing that it's not about you, it's not about what you want, but you are interested in what the other person wants. And when you become interested and concerned in what people want, they are more likely to help you. You're more likely to get the necessary advice you need and the information you need from them. So if you're a very intellectual person, you may be more intellectually inclined, and you may just be like the way I was, coming from my background, where you just see things as black and white, and you're just like, if you're not in, then it's fine, I'm not even going to bother myself. The problem with that, you can actually lose opportunities to connect with key individuals that can open up life-changing doors for you. And sometimes you have to be tolerant. Sometimes you have to be open-minded. Sometimes you have to be sensitive to certain cultures and certain people from certain people's backgrounds, so that you can actually be able to connect with those people, impact those people, and also for those people to help you to get ahead and connect you with key individuals that are going to help you to unlock your success. Another interesting thing that I got to realize as well in terms of dealing with people is body language. And there's a book that I would recommend. It's a very small book called How to Read Anyone Like a Book. And I would recommend reading that. It focuses a lot on body language. It's not the only book that does that. And I have gotten a lot about understanding human body language. It's absolutely amazing. I've watched programs on that, and this book that I'm recommending speaks on that. And you can actually begin to detect whether people are lying to you or not just by looking at their body language. And you can actually pick up a lot of things that may not be obvious to the casual onlooker. For example, I've got someone who's really close to me, and she posted a photo of her with her husband, and she shared this photo like, look at me and my husband, and we are in love and all of that. But I looked at the photo and I'm like, really? Are you guys in love? Is everything all right? Because in the photo, it seemed like the husband was disinterested. He was actually not showing any form of affection. It was the wife who was trying to put her arms around the husband, whose arms were just open, and he was just staring into the camera. There was literally no emotion in his face that showed that he was enjoying the moment with his wife. So I could just read the picture, and I could see from the body language that something is wrong. And when I started asking the relevant questions, I realized that it was actually not true. In fact, he was not happy with having to have his picture taken, and things were not good, basically, in their relationship. So body language is a powerful tool, especially if you can interpret it. I don't want to go too much into this whole body language thing, but I'll just share another thing as well. So I'm also watching a documentary on, I think it's on Prime Video, that focused on body language. It was a Canadian production, and it was really interesting in that they talked about that in certain airports, the cleaning, in fact, everyone, all the staff at the airport are taught about body language. And the reason why they're taught about that is to kind of pick up or detect suspicious looking individuals and to raise an alarm if they see or detect any of those individuals. So the cleaning staff, the porters, the flight attendants, the security personnel are all trained in picking up strange body language. And through training these all these different types of people in the ability to pick up these cues that people display due to abnormal body language, they have been able to actually stop heinous crimes from being performed at the airport. So body language is so important. And then I'll share one last thing also I learned from the book, How to Read Someone Like a Book, is, for example, if someone is speaking to you, you must always pay attention to their body language, because human beings tend to speak, they tend to express their emotions more with their body and than their hands. For example, if someone's legs are pointing in a different direction and they're speaking to you, it's an indication to you that the person actually is not interested in the conversation and they actually want to leave. And if someone, for example, has their body their body facing you from the side like this, and they're talking to you, kind of shows you that they're putting a barrier between you and them. They're probably not interested in what you're saying, or they are afraid of you and they actually want to leave. They don't want to. Another interesting thing that the last thing, this is the last thing. I'm really excited about body language, but I promise this is the last thing that I'm sharing with you in terms of body language, and I encourage you to do it as well and look at people and also pay attention to your own body language. An interesting thing as well is when people place their finger on their lip when you're speaking to them. I didn't know that this means that the person has got something to say, but they feel you're not giving them the opportunity, or they're not comfortable. And actually, this happened to me about 2 days ago. Subconsciously.